Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Loss of Lieutenant, this being episode 136, our post-Cancon predictions and tournament meta, because as everyone knows, the Australian meta is the best in the world, so we have the final say over what is and is not good in the game of Infinity. My name is Jordan, I'll be your host tonight, and I am joined by Nick.
Hello.
Tristan.
Hello.
And Josh.
Hi.
Oh, we're being sexy tonight, I see.
Oh, it's
Before we get into the main content of tonight's episode, we do have some really quick announcements to run through. Like always, we have our LOL Quarterly Challenge N5 edition with the first impressions for N5. You want a battle report of your first game of N5, battle report after a few games of N5, and how you have used the spectacular Sandtrap terrain to your best advantage. We want to see all of your submissions sent into lossoflieutenant@gmail.com, and at the end of the quarter there will be a lovely prize for people who have joined. And other than that, if you would like to listen to these episodes as they are being recorded live, as a few of our patrons are doing right now, and get access to the Patreon channel on our Discord, please head over to patreon.com/lossoflieutenant, where for $3 a month you can become one of our lovely darling cocks. Great skill. We love cock.
On that note, we would love to get a little Cancon feedback if you're a Cancon attendee, and this is a great excuse to do it because you might nab yourself a little cheeky box from your favorite retailer.
Hey. And as always, there will be a link to our Discord down in the description of this episode, provided that Tristan does use a valid link, unlike previous occasions.
One previous occasion, yes.
One previous occasion, but you are never going to live it down.
No.
And not only that, we also have upcoming events. First of that being, well, I don't know why they're ordered this way. I'm going to read it in the actual order they meant to appear in. First off, we have Arcfinity 2025 from the 3rd to the 4th of May at the Sandown Racecourse in Melbourne. Missions and points to be decided, as this is a more for fun, interesting tournament with not the standard ITS rules and points applied. Much more of an emphasis on hobby, as you can see by the full painted and base requirement. Every time we've done, so the first time we did Arc, we had some spectacular painted armies and some spectacular display boards brought out, and we're hoping to see more of that again this year. Josh, what kind of cake are you planning on bringing this time?
Birthday. Angel Sponge.
Oof, lovely. So tickets are available on the 30th of January. Estimated cost is about $100. And looking forward to that. Tristan will be running that event along with a few of the others, and I might be assisting, I'm not too sure. And then after that, if you want to get back into the swing of competitive ITS events, we have Border Bash 2025 on the King's Birthday long weekend from the 7th to the 8th of June at the Mirabina Community Centre in Lavington. The missions for that event are Cryogenics, Mind Wipe, Countermeasures, Panic Room, and the Armory, in stark contrast to the vanilla ice cream amount of spice of Cancon. This mission lineup is designed to fuck you. And Cryogenics is the best mission that CB have ever designed, so it's good that it's back.
I can't wait for the pin my list for this.
It's going to be fucking cooked.
It's going to be insane.
It's going to be fucking cooked.
I played a game of Cryo today, and I was reminded why it was amazing.
It's such a good mission. And heading across the ocean to America, we have the Tidewater Tempest 2025 from the 8th of March 2025 at World's Best Comics in Newport News, Virginia. It's a satellite tournament. It's 3 full rounds of Resilience Ops, 300 points, and space limited to 50 players. It's going to be a very interesting event, I'm sure. But jumping into the main topic of tonight's episode, we do have the post-Cancon recap. So just reminding you, the missions that were played at Cancon were Round 1 Acquisition, Round 2 Unmasking, Round 3 Supplies, Round 4 Firefight, Round 5 Decapitation. There was no danger of anything spicier than salt being used at this event.
No.
That's it.
And,
Very neutral missions that were selected prior to N5's release, well, knowing that N5 was going to be released, and then obviously prior to ITS 15 version 2 dropping. So they were picked because they would be obvious mainstays in the ITS document, and wouldn't change up their rules particularly. Well, you know,
nothing more than minor adaptations for
exactly right.
N5 versus N4.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I said, if the ITS document 10 years from now, you could almost guarantee that like at least 3 of these missions will still be in that document.
Yes.
Is the best way to think about that. And just as a reminder, I did not play at CanCon. The other 3 hosts on tonight did. But if you did see me at CanCon, you probably saw me wandering around annoying people, streaming on my phone. And yeah, that was really fun. So I'm very glad. I'm very glad that I did end up sort of getting to do that and do a little bit more community stuff instead of being bent over a table in a room that, the air in that room was thick.
Oh yeah,
that was. Man,
once they get the aircon system in there working on full power without destroying itself, I think it'll be pretty good. But
the other holes were good. The other holes were pretty good.
I heard it wasn't like AC. I heard it was evaporative cooling, which is kind of shit.
It wasn't evaporative cooling. It was basically just big fans that pushed air through tubes.
Yeah, it was a couple of times when I went over to like the merch hall. Like the Sigma hall still smelled pretty bad. The merch hall was pretty good for the most part. But yeah, walking back into the Fitzroy hall, it was like you walked through the entrance and like the air got thick and you felt resistance as you were trying to move through it.
Yeah, it was better outside than it was in there.
It was which is saying something because it was fucking hot too. But before we take a look at the top 10 lists from the event, we do have the faction breakdown, and I'm going to hand over to Nick for that because it's his favorite thing.
Yay! So I'd say, first of all, thank you, Jordan, for going around and making sure we bribed every player to give us their faction.
It was very hard work.
Yes. So we had 50 players total sign up or started. Of those 50, we had 28 different armies represented.
Wow,
and the spread was remarkably good. So most common was combined, or vanilla combined, with 5 players, but that was then followed by Invincible Army with 4, then Ramah, Vanilla 012, and Oban with 3. There was no real outlier.
Yeah, that's insane.
So as far as how many players played each, like I said, there were 5 players for combined, 4 players for Invincible. 3 factions had 3 players. 9 factions had 2 players, and then 14 factions had a single player. It was probably the most even distribution we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and like even looking at like the unrepresented sectorals, the only one that I'm like really surprised didn't show up is Assassins. The other ones on that list do sort of make sense if that.
Yes. I really expected to see at least 1, maybe 2 Assassin players there, and was prepared to go into them because they have so much viral now.
Yeah.
Like half their minds became viral minds. So the unrepresented sectorals, we had Svalaheimer, we had Imperial Service, and Cosmo. So only 1 from those 3 factions. No Assassins, no Kalpocalchi. Assassins, not expected. Kalpocalchi, probably expected.
Yeah.
Nomads were less popular. There was no Corregidor and no Tunguska.
There was no vanilla nomads either, right? There was just 2 Bakunin players.
Was there? I thought there was.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I may have messed that up.
No vanilla nomad players.
No vanilla nomads.
I missed that one. Okay, yeah. There were also no vanilla nomads.
It's all right. The actual pie chart is correct.
Yeah, the actual pie chart is correct. You're all good.
no white company, but all other NA2 were represented. And one that I was initially surprised by and then thought about it more, there was no vanilla JSA. But that makes sense in my head because the players who picked up Shinden, like, it's all the new toys. Go all in. And the players who continued to play JSA moved over to Oban because that's more what JSA used to be. And so vanilla JSA is this weird middle ground between them. And I can understand why no one wanted to venture there. It was either let's go all in on the new stuff or let's stick with the safe. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That totally makes sense.
It's really interesting. The it looks like the biggest outlier was combined at 20%, like the whole of combined, which was 20% of the total field.
Yes. Actually, we can flip over to the next one.
Oh, have you got it on the next one? Have you?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah. So as far as like the actual faction breakdown, not the RBs and sectorals, you're right. Combined definitely stood out a bit. In that combined had 10 players out of 50. And the next closest was Yujing with 6 players.
It's pretty even, apart from obviously combined. It's very even across the board, which is sort of great.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick,
I think we've lost you.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm still here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're still here. I'm still here. Josh is still here.
Nick's pulling a funny face, unfortunately.
He's pulling a very funny face.
All right. Well,
someone's just landed a critical trinity. Fuck.
But in breakdowns like this.
One thing that I was surprised about, just because it actually came out balanced, there were 13 vanillas and 37 sectorals, which means that it was a 1-to-3 ratio. That's the goal, like,
literally
of
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, so each vanilla has 3 sectorals, give or take. And that's the numbers we got. Each vanilla player had 3 sectoral players.
Oh my god, yeah, that is literally perfect. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the distinction between vanillas and sectorals is kind of gonna merge in a little bit now.
Yes.
I did when I was walking around notice that, like, even the people who went, like, even people playing sectorals, it wasn't about the link teams anymore, and the link teams were a lot smaller.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I played against anyone who was running a link team of more than 4. And that was more like they wanted those models and they happened to be able to link.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that Josh and Luke Henry were both running like 4-person cores of like Bakun and Nuns, but that's just a very easy core to build. So
yeah.
that's about
and that's
most.
less.
I only ran into 4-man cores.
Yeah.
I think it's less
At
about the
least level
bonuses.
4.
Less about the bonuses, more about what you're putting in there. Just what you want to carry up the table with your gun piece or your hacker or whatever.
Yeah, it's like it's about what you want to move up, and it's about can I get the +1 special dice, because that's the most important link bonus.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Not particularly close. But host experiences. So I had a great time at Cancon. I spent Saturday. I Saturday morning. I walked around during round 1 and gave out speedball tokens, and in exchange for faction information. Then I did a cheeky little stream. And I decided I was going to do that for round 2 and 3 as well. I wandered around the vendor hall after I did that. It was lovely. I had a fantastic time. It was such a low stress. I wasn't back to back with another person, mixing butt sweat. So I had a fantastic time. How about you, Nick? How was your CanCon experience?
So I went 3-2 and managed with a 3-2 to finish 28th out of 50 because there was only one major win in there.
Ooh.
So in the let's look at what's weird about this. All 5 of my opponents finished higher than me, even though I beat 3 of them.
Yep.
So most of my opponents only lost.
I can definitely say I lost to more than you, Nick.
Oh, thank you. But you still finished higher than me. So I ran my second list in all 5 games.
Yep.
Two of the games because it was the correct choice. One because I didn't feel like I could safely deploy a tag on that table we were on.
Yep.
And then the other 2 games because my classifieds locked me into playing the second list.
Yep.
I made a tweak to my second list right before Cancon, and yeah, it was a bad choice.
Just too many models off the table?
Yep, I went from 3 models off the table, which I have experience piloting, I feel comfortable with, to 4 models off the table, and apparently there's a line between those 2 where my skill falls off.
Well, yeah, it's especially the case where like 2 of them are parachuters, so they spend the order to come on, whereas the hidden deployment ones get to use that full order they spend to appear to do short skill.
Yeah. So in most of my matches, I just never felt like I was in control of my list, let alone the match. So for example, like my first 3 games, I spent the first 2 turns feeling order starved and with the crushing like bugbear of I have no cushion if dice go bad.
Yeah.
In all 3 of those games, I started turn 3 with 0 OP, with the exception of game 3, and I'd done 2 classifieds in that game.
Jesus.
And then I just managed to throw together a brilliant plan with my limited resources and eke out a win. Probably like I was able to recover from it, but it wasn't. Yeah, I never felt like I could actually. I was piloting the list. I was just trying to like not let it run off the road.
Yeah, just no breathing room. It sounds like.
No. Final 2 games. So day 2. You know that no cushion against bad dice part. Yeah. So very unfavorable dice happened. And given that these were also good opponents, they did not let the lopsided dice make them overconfident or overextend.
Yeah.
They just did a very good job of accepting that the dice were going nicely and not pushing it, just taking what they felt comfortable and maintaining good defense, not overextending, and just not giving me any openings to recover.
Yep.
It also didn't help that, like Jordan, you already alluded to it. During my 4th game, I was struggling with the noise levels, and during the 5th game, I basically just lost my ability to filter incoming stimuli. And I was in a situation where I had to explain to my opponent that I could not hear them and think about the game at the same time. Like during pack up, I had to basically say, like, I can't talk, I can't listen to you and have enough mental ability to put my models in my case.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Ivory's a great person and understood that. We packed up, we walked outside and had a great post-game conversation.
Nice. So what were sort of the overall takeaways here?
I made a last minute change to my list and it was a mistake. And I should not have done that. I should have stuck with the list I'd practiced, or practiced some with the list change before going.
Okay.
I found that like I can force suboptimal lists to do a lot of work, but there are limits. And for me, one of those limits is probably 3 bottles off the table. I also was able to show what I thought, and that is the Fracta Hacker is just a classified beast.
Hell yeah.
In supplies, the Fracta Hacker walked on and did 2 of my 2 classifieds. In Firefight, same thing. Walked on the board and just did 3 classifieds. The game went downhill from there, but it was a like beautiful top of 1, like walks on 5 orders, and I've scored all 3 of my classifieds.
Nice.
So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, overall, a learning experience in not being too explorative with list changes at the last minute.
Yep.
I think something I just picked up from you, Nick, is I think some people underestimate that to do well in a 2-day tournament of this caliber and this kind of nature, you almost have to have a level of endurance like a tennis player or a cricketer or something like that. I find once you hit that third game, you start getting hazy and you start making silly mistakes. And the people that can really, keep focusing into that third game after, especially with yourself, you had a late first game 1 and kind of a late. There's no gap between game 2 and 3, and
the first gap between games I had was 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. All right. That'll do it.
My first game went all the way through lunch, and thankfully I came prepared and had like 2 sandwiches and gave one to my opponent and was like, "Here's your lunch. Have a good game 2."
Yep.
That's so nice.
So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Tristan?
Well, I also went 3 and 2, but unlike Nick, I had 2 majors instead of 1 major. And that slight difference managed to jump me up to 20th spot.
Hell yeah.
Which means there were so many people that went 3 and 2.
Yes.
My takeaways, I don't like cutters. I don't think I'm ever going to run a cutter again. I really like Swiss Guard. And if I ever play Pano, I probably will always include a Swiss Guard. It's fucking insane. It's a better cutter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Oh my god.
Nick will be able to attest the Swiss Guard was just fucking fantastic.
Yes. It did amazing work until it started to take K1 combi shots.
Yep.
Until it started to roll bad, basically.
Okay, yes, and that too.
Wonderful.
So, Vanilla Pano is just... It has the top tier gunfighting, but somehow they've also gained really amazing kind of low mid-cost units in the Phalanx. They have quite a decent hacking game now because they have decent killer hackers and fast pandas.
The Fennec Force is so legit.
Fennec Force is incredible. Joan, despite what some people might tell you, is still incredibly resilient, and I only ever lost her if I was stupid with her, or she, failed to shoot something and took a Noctifer missile to the face.
Yep.
And the Link teams, I think it's almost... Pano is up there for maybe first, second, third of the best Link teams in vanillas, which almost...
I think it's first, not close.
I'll take that, because it almost feels like a sectoral at this point. Like, I'm not leaving Vanilla Pano without, like, at least 2 duos or a duo and a Harris, realistically.
Totally.
And they're very, very good. The only thing that I really, really, really was desperate for, and one thing that might distinguish a really good faction from just a good faction, is those close assault pieces that are unhackable. Because Pano really is only getting that motorized bounty hunter, which is pretty fat, but Kestrel getting Yamabushi and things like that, those kinds of models are going to be really, really good.
Yeah, my heart and soul for AVA1 Yamabushi and Vanilla Pano, I swear to God.
Yep.
It feels like Vanilla Pano, the most difficult part of list building, is still the same that Vanilla's had, and that's too many good options.
I would say Vanilla Pano, yes, because you have the apex gunfighter of each tier. You've got the Aquila, you've got the Swiss, you've got the Hetkari, and then you go into the tags. You still have your cheap BS15 tag. You have your expensive MIM6 tag. You even have your 2 Lieutenant Order Tigbalang tags. So you're just a swathe of options, and you really have to pick, this list is going to be really good at getting rid of Mimetism, and this list is going to be really good at getting rid of or fighting Ariadna because they don't have any MSV or something like that, So you do have a swathe of options, but they're all good.
Yep, sounds about right for Pano, honestly. Like, Falls in line with the experience I had in the games that I played at Jolt on Sunday.
I think we both ran a very similar list, and I think we both really liked it.
That the Joan Swiss list is just so good, man. No one is respecting Swiss Guard yet, and I think 6 months into N5, you're gonna have to respect Swiss Guard.
Yeah,
because Mim 6 is so good. Like, hidden deployment means they are just untouchable for that first turn. If you go second, nothing but good things to say.
and they're way less likely to die in one single failed roll.
Yep, with the 2 wounds,
they have a little bit more redundancy as well, and you don't need to take a doctor necessarily because you do have the switch on, which means you have a reliable way of not killing them with your whip 12.
Yep.
All right.
Josh, how is your CanCon, buddy? How are you feeling?
Look, I went from great success in round 1 to very poor, great failures in the next
4 rounds.
Next 4 rounds. We went 1-4, boys, which is fine. It's fine. I'm telling myself it's fine. No. I like. That being said, tournaments for me aren't all about the competitive experience. I managed to switch gears pretty rapidly into having a fun time, which was lovely. I think if I was going to boil down my sort of lessons from CanCon into a few sort of aphorisms, practice makes perfect is probably one of them. And don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. So, and of course, the final aphorism is super jump, do be stronks.
Yep.
Yeah.
That famous old-timey saying, super jump, do be stronks.
Yeah. Words to live by, honestly.
Yeah, 100% is. So stop being such a list butterfly, and don't get tunnel visioned on a single line of play. Just take a deep breath, step back, try something different.
Next time.
And commit to your first love. Yeah. Absolutely. Because everyone knows your first love is the truest and the deepest love you'll ever have. High school sweethearts. Get back together. You heard it here first, folks.
So there's a Taylor Swift song playing in the background here, or?
Yeah, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting.
All right, sounds good.
And also, we are never getting back together.
Sounds good. That's what we said. That's what he said to Steel Phalanx at the end of this event.
That's not true.
He looked Agamemnon dead in the eyes and said, "We're never getting back together."
Ajax, you're a shit Achilles.
They just jumped into Shinobu Kitsune's arms and held hands with Miyamoto Musashi.
This is going to a weird place. Okay.
No, it's going to a great place. So
as we skip off into the sunset.
Exactly. So the N5 meta asterisk based on the sample size of one CanCon, but it's an Australian event, so you can make a lot of really good extrapolations
it's
about
like
the
5
overall
American events.
N5. Australia. It's fine.
I will say before anyone starts typing like fucking lost Lieutenant I'm just joking. It's just a joke. It's okay.
It's all good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we've got the top 9 lists. We couldn't actually contact 10th place, unfortunately. We're going to go into a bit of detail on 1 to 5 and then show the lists from 6 to 9. And just sort of have a chat about it. What we think, how we sort of like the list. Starting off with first place, no longer the bridesmaid, now the bride for the first time. Hector on Kestrel Colonial Force, the only KFC player at the event, funnily enough.
Yeah, so we were wrong in our guess there was going to be a lot of piano, but correct that it was going to be KFC to take the top.
I feel very proud about that. Josh, you received about 16 minutes of voice memos from Hector about these lists. Would you like to run us through this?
I did, yes. So unfortunately, I can't replicate Hector's sexy Spanish accent nor his sexy Spanish language, but I'll do my best. I'm not going to do it.
Well, it's okay. We'll have him on soon.
Yeah, he played both of his lists at the tournament. We've got the first list on this slide and the second list on the next slide. He played them. He writes his lists as day 1 and day 2. So so this list was his day 1 list. It goes as follows. It's a 10 and 5 split with a Heskari multi-red Fury, duoed with a Firefly Mine Layer, a core Fennec link of a Griffin Feuerback by Pandra, 2 Fennec triangulated out of Mine Layers with a Thunderbolt +1 burst, and a Fennec combi rifle. A Banshee killer hacking device, a Beast Hunter, the Pano unique one, 17 point with the extra burst heavy flamethrower, and a Jackal infiltration mine layer. Group 2 consists of 5 models of a Scarecrow killer hacker, a Yamabushi camouflage 1 use, a Magistrate Lieutenant Strategist level 1, linked with in a duo with the Jackal FTO, and with Booty, and a Mule Bot. It's group. It's a very cool list. Group 1 is designed to be as efficient as possible. Basically using the Hekari Firefly duo as a hammer / efficient order piece. Both of those duos can do stuff as the link lead. So as if the Hekari, if there's something to shoot, the Hekari shoots it. If there's nothing to shoot, the Firefly takes over, pops down arm turrets, pops down mines. The core link was primarily a defensive core with the Griffin standing up on active ARO. In his testing games, Hector did put the Fennec Thunderbolts up on FTO on IRO as well. However, they went down too easily, and he just broke link purity. So he's like, I just popped the Griffin on it on IRO, and if it went down all the way to dead, I used the Fennecs aggressively.
Yep.
The Beast Hunter was probably the thing that he thinks the Pano Beast. He said he'll always spend the points on the Pano Beast Hunter. He downgraded a Fennec Paramedic, I believe, to a normal Fennec combi rifle to fit the Beast Hunter in. And he said it can win games on its own. Just projecting so much area of attack with that double flamethrower means that you can just cover so much ground with it. Group 2 is initially an order pull for the Yamabushi to make an attack run. However, he generally prefers to preserve that order and use the Scarecrow instead. That's list number 1.
Hell yeah.
I like this list. I like as a
I do too.
Scarecrow. I love Scarecrows.
Yeah, I'll say that the Beast Hunters are even scarier now with Super Jump going from 4/4 to 6/6.
Yeah.
Because after forward deploying, they can jump, not care if someone discovers them, jump again, and flamethrower.
Yep.
And there's very little reaction you can have to that.
It's Fidei at home, but Fidei brought propane.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a clean burn of fuel, I'll tell you what.
Hector said that Fireflies are the best medium infantry in the game.
I don't disagree.
Yep.
We'll get back to it at the end with our predictions, but boy howdy do I feel completely vindicated on several of them.
All right. Do you want to move to number 2?
Yep.
Number 2 is for day 2. So this one was played for Firefight and Decapitation. It consists of it's a 9-5 split of a Harris with, now, there was a mistake in this list. A duo of the Crux Knight and Bipandra with a Firefly and Mine Layer there on its own. A Machinist with a Powerbot. The Pano Beast Hunter, a Magistrate Chain of Command in a Harris with 2 Jackal FTOs, and a Fugazi Dronbot. Group 2 consists of a Tikbalang Lieutenant +1 order, a Firefly duoed with a Firefly Mine Layer, a Jackal Infiltration Mine Layer, a Tech B, and a Mulebot. Now, the mistake that that Hector was making, unfortunately, is that he had both his Harrises active in his games. He thought that the Crux Knight by Pandra Firefly could be a core.
Yeah, so
not
both,
just a Harris.
So both the Cold Corps fire team, which is what the Magistrate and the Jackals are, and the Kestrel fire team can only be Harises or duos.
Yeah.
So realistically, all you would have had to do was basically have the Magistrate on its own with have the Magistrate with 1 Jackal, and then it's fine, and he just has to
or the other way around.
Yeah, you probably do it that way because the Magistrate and the Jackal together still get a special die, and then that way the other fire team gets the special die as well.
Yeah, that makes sense too. And also,
such an easy mistake to make.
Also, Italy, it's a new edition. No one's blaming Hector.
I mean, even last edition, people were doing that with fire teams, where it was like, can that be that? It's like, yeah, definitely. Actually, no.
No, actually, no. People like to wish things happen.
Yeah.
He was saying that this is the last one was more of what he would call a classic N4 list, and this one is very much not a classic N4 list. It seems pretty N4-y to me, but your mileage may vary.
The group 2 tag is like the most N4 thing about this list.
He said that both groups were centered around a striker for each group. Group 1 striker was the Crux Knight, fueled by the tactical awareness from Bipandra and the NCO from the Firefly. Once again, he said the Fireflies are the best at medium infantry in the game. Could always spend orders on them. Fantastic. And the Crux Knight always had something to do as well. He said the D charges were great because if there was something that was a little bit like not as good in CC, he could
proper goober, basically.
He could choose to take the -6 and drop D charges on them, but most of the time he just preferred to just go the full 25 and hit things with the DACC weapon. Group 2's striker obviously was the Tikbalang, and he thinks that the Tikbalang Firefly duo is probably the best duo in the game. He thought that he was initially had it duoed with a Firefly Engineer, but found that the Firefly Mine Layer did so much more for him than having the Engineer. He also said that Tagcom came in very clutch with the extra 3 to dodge, because means the Tikbalang's dodging on 14s, and it helped him a lot when he was trying to save it from Peter's IA when he was playing decap.
Yeah,
it gives you a good out when you get outgunned.
Yep, totally.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I like this second list more, I think, than the first one.
It definitely plays into Firefight and Decap like disgustingly well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Again, turn 0, you start with 2 turrets deployed. Like, you've got the Jackal in the midfield as well, with the shock mine dropped. Like, it's just, I don't want to really, trying to punch into this seems very difficult.
The strategic deployment means you could put a marksman turret somewhere really interesting.
Yeah.
Anywhere really interesting, because both Firefight and Decap have 16-inch deployment zones, or is it just Decap?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's both.
So you have up to 20 inches to put a mine layer down, an armed turret down. So you could just put a armed turret in range of the opponent's DZ, looking at directly at something that he wants to activate.
The Crux Knight's so good, man. Like the fact that it's 2 special dice in ARO, like you get to roll 3 dice. Like you don't want to fight this thing, and it's an AP HMG of stats essentially with Spitfire range bands. Like
Even
Nothing.
the nuts thing of throwing a drop bear at
Yeah.
-3, but you're on 3 dice, so it's basically always
Yes.
landing.
Just
I think one thing people can take from this list, if you're always the person who wants to be 300 points and 6 SWIC, is you don't need to spend all your SWIC, you just need to have good quality guns. And sometimes they're not always in
You don't even
SWIC.
need 10, 15 troopers. Don't even need this is only 14.
Yeah.
It's what I've noticed a lot with Kestrel is that a lot of the list that I was writing as well, you end up with like 3.5 SWIC, and it's like, this feels wrong, but this list seems good.
The also being less than 15 orders is huge, is something that's pretty big. I think that the also the interesting thing in both of Hector's lists is that one, they didn't both include Yamabushi, but they did both have Beast Hunters, so that's good.
They're
The other one is
essentially the same role.
the lack of Sierra John bots.
Yep.
So not having a TR bot, when I think it's more often than not the thing that people reach for when it comes to some ARO defense.
You could fit it in.
Instead you could, but I think it would take away from the list.
You don't need it when you have 2 Firefly Mine Layers.
Yeah, the Firefly Mine Layers are putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need it.
And you have the Jackals as well, which sometimes just go, hey, I rolled Mim 6. Haha.
Yeah.
And if you're putting in TR bots, you want to make sure you have an engineer in there, and then you want a PAL bot if you have it somewhere else. And
He does have an engineer.
He does have the machinist. He does have.
He does have the machinist.
Yeah.
There's no universe you're leaving. Yeah, you're putting a Tech Belang in your list and not taking a machinist in some form.
As the
I missed that. I saw the Tech B and missed the machinist.
That's curious. Did Hector tell you if he used deployable cover at all?
He didn't. I don't believe he did.
It's 100% there was a point left.
Yeah,
and it's just
probably.
We'll take deployable
Yeah,
cover.
it's just we've only got a sample size of 5 games, so he may have put it in and used it in other games.
2 games for this anyway.
This list.
Yeah.
I really like the deployable cover in for particular units. So units that frenzy, deployable cover is great for. And units that are already impetuous with limited cover, deployable cover is fantastic for.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to see a tanker missile launcher with deployable cover behind it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting.
Again, it's almost never gonna win the face-to-face, but it's gonna survive for the almost certainly.
It's just absorbing orders.
Just eating orders, basically.
I think deployable cover is a sleeper right now.
Yeah.
And in a few months, once people get over the other shinies, we will start to see it pop up. And it is more powerful than I think people are giving it credit for.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I will...
Yeah, go on.
Go ahead, Tristan. Okay. I will say these two lists... Boy, howdy. You read Hector's list, and it's like, how the fuck did... This makes their... Oh, okay. You read a list by Hector, and it's just he's playing so much weird shit, but it evidently works so well for him.
I think Hector is someone who vibes a list.
Yeah.
He goes, I think this is the list I'd like to run. Then he tests it. He puts his lists through the ringer. He tests against some of the weirder players in the meta in our meta. He and I think we drove, Hector and I drove back down, and I talked about sort of his list building philosophy and stuff, and what he does. And he said the best person to test lists against is Val.
Yep.
Because Val will always throw a curveball, and that's the best way to the best way to test a list is to just run it against Val and see how he will break it apart. So props to Val for getting a good old mention.
Fucking oath. So I guess heading into second place and third place, definitely to an extent, something I think everyone has missed to an extent is IA Ascendant, apparently. Wow, what a fucking event for Invincible Army. My god, taking out 2 of the top 10 spots and being it was of 3 players at the event as well, like
four I think.
4, sorry.
Mm.
Absolutely fucking insane. Like,
well, it's not just 2 of the top 10, they were the other 2 podiums.
they were the podium. Sorry,
Yeah.
they were the podium. Like, wow, I know people have been saying Invincibles is pretty good. Like, I thought they were pretty good. I was sort of talking through lists with Lewis, but these lists don't look anything like the ones I was sort of writing either. It's I really want to know, because Tristan, you talked to both Peter and spoiler alert, the person who came in third. I'm curious how much of it was Gudon existing now, and how much of it was just other net buffs received by the faction.
I think so. From what I gather, the Gudon are like the I don't immediately lose kind of thing. Like, Norkius isn't running across the table and eating my models. I have something to stop that. And then what wins me the list is I have 14 orders in Group 1 with Tai Shang.
Yeah.
Or an AP Shang-Ji or something like that.
They're fucking Warhorse as well.
Yes.
So, like, if you go into Loss of Lieutenant, they're still regular orders to use if they're alive.
Absolutely.
Invincible Army have AVA 3 TR bots and AVA 2 Flash Pulse bots.
Yep.
You, like, 5 orders, and 3 of them are Thunderbolt +1 bursts, is 68 points.
Yep.
That's insane.
And 2 Gudand. And a Liberto.
Oh, yeah, chuck 2 good in. 2 Gudand in a Liberto.
Alright, Tristan, run us through this. Run us through what the superior Henry brother was cooking.
The second podium was also a Victorian by the name of Peter Henry.
Feeling very smug about our state right now.
His first list, the all-comers list, that leveraged some fun changes to old units. So, if you guys haven't looked at the Yan Fo profile, I recommend you go take a look. But for a cheeky 47 points, you get a BS14 HRMC with Warhorse.
And arm immune.
And arm immune with 5 arm. So it's always going to be 8 arm in cover. It also gets something else that's disgusting from memory.
That's it.
That's it. Everything.
It gained religious.
It gained religious, so
it can stay standing.
It can stay standing. Yeah.
But it basically has surpassed the Shang-Chi if you don't want to duo the Shang-Chi. It will murder stuff way more efficiently, and it will not die in response like a Shang-Chi will. It will just tank a missile to the face. It will tank a sniper to the face. It'll throw 5 natural dice instead of 4+1.
Yep.
So it just melts tags.
Better range bands as well.
Better range bands. Peter had the specific Harris of Tai Shang, a Zuyong paramedic, and a Hideout. All of these with the Dao Ying.
Is this a level 2 fighting?
Yes. It might even be level 3. I think it's actually level 3.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
So you have a Tinbot Neg 6 on a Hideout killer hacker who's shooting pitches.
It's a level 2.
Level 2?
Level 2. Yeah.
Okay. So you got Tinbot Neg 6 on top of a Hideout killer hacker who is shooting pitches at things and just assassinating because you're putting them at neg a billion. You have a paramedic, which has now, for some reason, at 26 points, gained a multi-rifle, which is really interesting. And you have a burst 4.5 breaker combi rifle on BS14 with Tai Shang. Just an enormous amount of orders, and Peter just ran it up the table, and it's incredibly difficult to deal with because all of them are incredibly immune to hacking, and even if they're not, you just brain blast them as well.
Yeah.
Like, that brain blast Norkius pretty reliably.
Oh yeah, big time.
Zensha, Liberto, and Gudand just in the midfield, just muddy the waters a little bit, and you don't necessarily know what you're looking at if you don't over deploy the Zensha. A common thread.
I mean, even if you do over deploy the Zensha, you've got the Liberto there as well to hide it with its mine.
Yeah. So a lot of people aren't actually used to playing against IA either, and probably not familiar that the Zensha is a regular hacker with Trinity as well. It's Yeah. So IA really good at hacking. A common thread you'll see across our 2 podium IA players is they love luging. And I can understand why. You get a 30.2 wound explosive dude on the drop who has a multi-rifle, who's a specialist who can do a bunch of classifieds, and who just likes shooting people in the back of the head pretty much. I think both Peter and our 3rd podium had incredible luck with the luging. And the rest is kind of just filler. I think these lists work really well because you're not overcomplicating your options. You start your turn, and one group, the Yanhuo is spending 7 orders, and the other group, you're spending 9 orders on Pai Sheng doing stuff. So it's not like you have a massive thought process, but it lets you focus on your game really well, and both of those pieces just do stuff.
Yep.
So that's Peter's first list. We'll head over to his second list, which is a little bit more interesting. This was targeted towards unmasking. So we had a Hacktail hacker, double Gudan, Liberto, Evo bot, 2 Evo bots, my bad. We had a TR
The other Gudan profile this time as well.
The Zappers, yes.
Yeah.
I would probably always take the Zappers.
I prefer the Zappers as well, because you get the submachine gun as well.
Yeah, you can go suppressive as well. Yep. The Luging hacker that gets a natural Tinbot -6 as well. 2 flash bolts. A duo of 4 deploy crit Cockram and 4 deploy Hulang. Dao Ying Lieutenant, Missile Bot, and another Evo. So the idea behind this list is the Hacktail goes and smashes the objective, presses the buttons. The Lu Jing uses the exclusion zone to drop for free, potentially behind the designated targets, and shoot them in the back. You have the TR bot for ARO along with your camo markers, and double Evo lets you maintain either marksmanship, fairy dust, or controlled jump at all times. The Hulang itself is a MIM6 burst 2.5 emitter, and is also throwing down a crazy koala to protect your own designated targets. And Cockram also has an emitter, except he's not MIM6, but he has Chain Colt, EM Mines, deployable repeater, and a heavy shotgun. And just wounds. So yeah, I think this is a really interesting list because it kind of just ignores your opponent and goes, I'm going to do the mission.
Yeah. Yeah, it does the mission exceptionally well.
With the Hacktail, is part of that just people expectation that the Hacktail is going to be a fire battery?
Potentially. I'm not certain if I looked at this that I'd know that there was a Hacktail. Maybe I'd guess because there's 2 things off the table. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where you really can't stop it super well. Like, you're not going to stop it pressing the buttons. If you're going second into this, you're never killing the Hacktail, and you're not stopping the Lu Jing. So you always have ways to come back in unmasking. So yeah, interesting list. It must have worked for him very well because he came second. Is this anything like anyone's IA list that they've been dreaming up, Jordan?
No, no. The stuff I've been building has looked a little bit more like vanilla Yujing, but I'm doing like some cheeky fire team stuff with like 2 Zanchis and the missile bot that you can put in a fire team.
Yep.
Where it's like +1 burst, so you've got like a burst like 2.5
missile bot.
That's like burst 2.5 in ARO as well with the Evo bot.
Yep.
And I was going with like the Dao Ying Hacker Lieutenant because I quite like that profile, just so it can do something if something happens to one of your NCOs. And I was using like the Hacktail HMG along with the Yanho HRMC as like my 2 gunfighters. But again, it just shows that there is just a lot of depth going on in the faction now that you've been able to sort of move some stuff around, especially with Gudan and your flash pulse bots being able to sort of let you fit in a lot more than you could previously.
Yep, Gudan and Liberto, and yeah, just
the bottom end is just legit. Like it's just super legit now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't really look at this list and say it's going to work because your biggest gun is either a missile bot or a TR bot.
Yeah.
But in unmasking, it just works because you really don't need to go past the exclusion zone. and you have the ability to just ignore your opponent half the time.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Third place, funnily enough, was another IA player, and they worked very much together. So this is the list that our third place player, Jacob, Marshmallow Death Laser, played all 5 rounds with. So he won lists of the entire event and came third. This particular one was designed for unmasking and decap. We have a Harris of Tai Shang, Zeon Paramedic, and Hideout, like Peter. We have a duo of Shang-Chi and Zeon Takaware. Just to clarify, the Hideout can go into either of those, depending on if you go first, second, or whatever.
Yep.
We then have 2 Gudan Zappers, 2 Flash Pulse bots. Group 2 is a Ludwan. He is there to pop any mines people drop and to just be annoying EM as well. That can be a nice little deterrent. We have a Lu Jing. We have a Liberto. We have the Dao Ying Lieutenant. We have an Evo bot. And we have another Mule bot just to help refill pitches and the like. Pretty similar to Peter's first list, except Jacob swapped the Shang-Chi for the Yanhuo. This is one of those lists where you've got 2 Takawares and 2 NCO orders in Group 1. So even if you strip Group 1, you're throwing 11 orders between a Tai Shang and 10 orders excluding the Shang-Chi's Takaware, which can just do a ton of work, which also leaves 6 orders for a Lu Jing just to do stuff as well. Yeah. Apparently people just crumple in the face of a burst 4.5 combi rifle from Tai Shang.
Honestly, yeah, like, I guess. Because they were I remember at dinner, like, both of them were talking up how good Tai Shang was for them. Like, look, Breaker might just be good enough now with how much immunity there is in the game.
Did Tai Shang used to have a Mark 12?
She used to have a Mark 12 as an option. She did have a Breaker, but the Breaker was on a different profile, I think.
So the Mark 12 is now a Thunderbolt +1 burst.
Yeah.
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 I don't think people can overestimate how strong a 2-wound killer hacker with Tinbot Next 6 is.
Oh, yeah, the Hideout is obnoxious.
It's only 22 points, and it's shooting pitches up to 24 on 13s. It's really good. If you take anything from this, pitches being 0 to 24 is a buff, not a nerf.
Yeah. And then neg 3 past 32 is a buff.
Neg 3 to 32, like 2 dice on 10s to land a pitcher from your DZ to the enemy DZ is really good.
Yeah. And as long as they're linked.
Yeah.
It's a buff because you're burning through your limited resources slower.
Yeah. Yep. Anyone who tries to tell you, like, pitches were only nerfed if you're one dude throwing one pitcher, and that's it.
Yep.
They need to change how disposable interacts with special dice, I think, because being able to toss 2 dice out to just to use one pitcher means that you're really struggling. You're not really struggling with disposable being a limited resource.
Pitches are just such a problem child. Like, the only other thing I would sort of do is just make them, like, perimeter deployables or something. Like,
I think just capping their range is the simplest solution.
Range. Yeah.
Just put a hard cap after, 24 or something?
No, put a hard cap of, like, 16 inches. Like,
okay.
Like, absolutely.
No, you run up the table and you will like it.
Yeah, like, no. They, like,
instead of pitching them, you should frisbee them.
Yeah, throwing pitches is stupid and dumb.
It's frisbee golf.
Exactly.
As someone who had used it for a year, it just was not. It's not fun.
Who wants to talk about our first non-podium but also Victorian player?
Josh?
I will.
Quapam.
This is Ryan Kirby's Ramah list. Ramah Lindong. He ran this in all 5 games, I believe. I've played against this list twice now. It is, and I will do this list justice because I will call Tariq Mansouri by his proper name. Tariq the Man Mountain Mansouri.
Yep.
Lieutenant +1 order AP rifle. Quarij heavy rocket launcher. Quarij Doctor. Quarij NCO Mark 12 Pulsar. And a Beast Hunter FTO in a 5-man core link which is a level 4 fire team. A 3 Fanus remotes, a Ghulam NCO with a smoke grenade launcher, and a Ghulam hacker in Group 1. Group 2 consists of a Monstrucker with the good profile with the drop bears and the armed turret, and 2 Nazmats, a Camille Evo hacking device, a guided missile launcher remote bot. I don't want to pronounce that. And 2 Shihabs, one of which is a Thunderbolt +1 burst, and one of which is a heavy machine gun. In sort of casual conversation, there are 2 steps to this list. It is apply Corrige, and there are no other steps.
Yep.
Basically, he says Ryan loves Corrige. He's loved them forever. He's played them forever. They were kind of bad in N4, and they are kind of incredible in N5. Super jump 8 inches is amazing, an amazing skill. Because they are still 1 wound, they don't stand up to multi-burst ARO very well, which is why he's got the Ghulam NCO there just to pop some shots off with that smoke grenade launcher. If a person had a template that he had to deal with, he would use Tariq to take the gunfights just to hang it on that extra wound that he has. And otherwise, it's all just fixing bots and throwing turrets with the Monstrucker while the Corrige jump around.
So he rode back in the car with me, and we talked about the Corrige some. You're right, they are only 1 wound, but they're immunity armor, which means that for the most part, they've got a really good chance of only going unconscious.
Yeah.
And with the Doctrine there, pick it back up.
It's a Doctor +3, so it's picking back up on 17s, which is amazing.
Yeah. They also have a really good mix. Like, they are expensive, but they're above average in gunfighting and above average in melee. And can apply whichever... They have the mobility to apply whichever one the opponent's model is worse at. So if he's got a gunfighter, he can super jump to get into melee with them. If they're a melee monster, then he just shoots them. Yep.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, and I guess I don't really understand the list, but I get the feeling that Ryan came forth through not necessarily amazing list building skills, but more so just incredible playing skills, or just really well tuned with the list. I feel like if most other people tried to run this list, they might have a hard time.
Oh yeah, Ryan is a very good player.
Yeah, Ryan's a good player. He's run this list a lot, but he also knows these units inside out. Knows exactly, has limit tested them to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Tohaa. Ugh. Who wants to talk about Tohaa? Because I don't even recognize half these names.
Okay, I guess. So I'll bite the bullet. So from talking with people who are Tohaa players, there's been a little bit of a "it's so over, we're so back." McCool's are worse. Oh no. What is it? Fairware now gets fire team bonuses. We're so back.
Fairway gets fire team bonuses?
Yeah,
because they're
it's a BS attack on whip.
BS attack whip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's still listed as a technical weapon in the rule book, but I believe that is going to be FAQ'd.
If I recall correctly, technical weapon does not actually have a definition in N5.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, also, it's and then it's like, oh, but Endgame's disposable now. It's so over. baggage is good. We're so back.
We have the best baggage in the game.
Yeah, second best.
Second best, sorry.
So list 1 is a Gryphop with the D-charges, Tack Wheel Lieutenant +1 order, always a standout. Karui Mine Layer, 2 Karui Sentinels with Mine Layer with their EM mines. We do love an EM mine in this household. The Diplomatic Delegate Special Service, Specialist Operative with the Nanopulse, Flash Pulse, and Fairway Tactic Eraser. 5 points, it's exceptional. Liberto Mine Layer, a Sukiel HMG with D-charges, I believe, then triadded with the Costial Engineer and the Kriegel, I hope. I'm going to assume. And then there is the Sukael Missile Launcher, along with a Kael'tar Chain of Command and a Takwheel Chain of Command, and I assume another triad, because I don't know why you wouldn't with a Missile Launcher. And then you've got the Takwheel Chain of Command, Kael'tar, just nothing, just with his Symbio made Symbio Bomb, and then the 2 Chaxa Auxiliars. Yep, it's doing Tohaa things. Ed is a truly exceptional defensive player. Honestly, one of the best out of Canberra. He played Spiral Core for the majority of N4 as well. If you watch the streams, you probably saw me joking with him about taking the training wheels off and playing a real faction now. He's very upset that he's had to give up Helots, but he's traded them in for, real artichokes instead of artichokes we have at home. Yeah, I like this list a lot. The HMG is really good. The McCools no longer being like a 2 to 3 of in every list is stark. They have definitely fallen by the wayside a little bit in the coming of N4, unfortunately. Just with their CC weapons getting considerably worse with those viral CCWs. The smoke changes making that Fizz 13 actually hurt a little bit more than it would otherwise. And the cover changes, along with the fact that their heavy flamethrowers are now no longer 2 burst like they used to be.
Still looking pretty good, in my opinion.
Still looking pretty... Mm-hmm. I mean, 4th place is 4th place, and he was in the finals against Hector. So obviously he was doing something right. And then list 2 for what looks like Spies, Acquisition, and Unmasking. Man, look, Ed, I love you, buddy. Can you do the list groups in the correct way of big group, small group, please, for us?
No, small group first.
No, it doesn't look right. I'm sorry. So we have a Suquel with the K1 Sniper Rifle, Kael'tar Chain of Command, Chaxa Auxilia FTO, Diplomatic Delegate, Liberto Mine Layer. I think that's a triad, but you get the bonus because of the 2 Tohaa dudes.
It is not. It is a duo.
Oh, they can duo. I thought it was just triads. Yeah. Oh, good.
They have Tohaa has maximum 2 duos.
Oh, that's how they balance that. Okay, wonderful. Mm-hmm. And then in Group 2, we have the Suquel HMG, Takwheel Chain of Command, Camille Paramedic, Tagma, Multi-Structural Visor Level 2, Viral Sniper Rifle. I believe that's something that Spiral Core gave to Tohaa in N5.
It is.
And a piece I'm sure Ed is very familiar with from time playing Tohaa. The Kimatail, Kael'tar, Takwheel Lieutenant +1 command token. The Takwheel Lieutenant's so good, man. Like, having those 2 Lieutenant orders to just like, mirror ball, mirror ball, mirror ball, mirror ball, mirror ball, mirror ball all over you. Yeah, the vision denial that model gives is insane.
Endgame as well.
Endgame as well. Endgame as well, but mirror ball is definitely the big one. Like, on demand, zone of control, eclipse zones is insane. Costial Engineer, and then the 2 more Chaxa Auxiliars. Yeah. Just with the +1 damage heavy flamethrowers as well, just because why not?
I can appreciate that both lists are 6-week 300 points.
It's very pleasing to the eye.
So long as we flip those groups, it would be perfect.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. No. They are perfect as they are.
I honestly, like, it's good to see that despite the up and down of the graph, that Tohaa seems to have settled off in a really good place, especially in the hand of a player that is as good at the game as Ed is.
Interestingly, he didn't take the Kriegel agent in this one with the Tagma MSV2, so you're not getting any smoke shooting in here. But it's there to pop MSV mimetism Mayaro pieces rather than anything else, I think.
Yeah,
it's also a hollow mask unit, isn't it?
Yes.
It is, yes.
So it's just a surprise. The surprise ARO that people might forget is in Tohaa now. The people who actually know what Tohaa units are.
Yeah. Well, you can disguise it as like a second Sukael or something, and like someone will throw smoke to walk around it, and then you'll just get to shoot them as they're walking past. So
Yep.
Really upset that the Kori Sentinels don't have their paramedic anymore.
didn't they also?
Layer used to be.
Didn't the lieutenant go up points as well?
Which one?
I'm trying. It was the Karui Sentinel where like it had a lieutenant profile that was just 6 points cheaper for some reason. Was that the?
Oh, no, that was Kragel Agents.
That was the Cryo Agents, sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I understand some of these words.
Yeah. No, again, this is it's not surprising at all to see Ed sort of be in the finals of CanCon. He's very, very good as a defensive player. And these missions definitely rewarded good defensive play more than anything else. And yeah, these lists both seem very good from the way I sort of pass and read Tohaa.
It is a very interesting thing to look at. Maybe excluding Ryan's lists, because I don't... Well, actually not excluding Ryan's list. I think every single list we've looked at in the top 5 has had excellent defensive capabilities.
I would say excluding Ryan. I would absolutely say excluding Ryan's list.
Well, he has 2 TR bots.
2 TR bots.
But even he said at Pinnacle, he was like hoping and praying that he went first every game.
Yeah, I know.
He was. Yeah.
His defense is much stronger after he has a turn because of the Monstrucker.
Yes.
But worst case, he's got 2 TR bots and 3 flash pulses.
Yeah.
So maybe excluding Ryan's list, but the other lists kind of have really good dedicated defensive pieces.
Lots of Mind Layer.
Lots of Mind Layer.
Lots of Mind Layer. Can't go wrong with Mind Layer, honestly. It's why every time I look at Pano and Kestrel, I'm like, Fennec Thunderbolt Mind Layer, it's a 0 Swick Mind Layer. Get that shit in my...
And all of this Mind Layer is 0 Swick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right,
on to our 6th place list. Josh, this seems a little bit more in your neck of the woods after CanCon.
Yeah, this is Sam Belhoris on Steel Phalanx. We had a good chat prior to and then after CanCon about our experience with Steel Phalanx and what we like to run. So it's good to see how well he did. The first list is one that I didn't know that he was running. It is a 10-5 split. The 10 group, because it's second on here, is Phoenix, 2 Myrmidons in a Harris, which is a level 3 Harris, Penthesilea, Scylla Evo Hacker, TR Bot, Thunderbolt TR Bot, a Probot Deactivator Repeater, Flash Pulse Bot, Net Rod, and just an 18-point Ectremos. Group 2 is a K2 Auxilia FTO with a Mind Dispenser Para and a Dactyl Engineer Deactivator in a duo, a Thyreos Mine Layer, another Ectremos, and a Machion Lieutenant with 2 Yard Bots.
Yep, very much seems to be a believer in Machion.
More Mind Layers.
Lots of Mind Layers. So the only real Mind Layer there is Thyreos. But a Mind Layer is just a extra disposable turn 1 defensive piece. So you've got a. I think they're good. I know from a fact that the Dactyl Engineered Marksman Turret and the K2 Auxilia FTO is an excellent duo. They do a really good job of gumming up your DZ and the midfield, moving around and taking turns just lobbing armed turrets and mine dispensers down, and then heading back to your baggage bot to reload is just such an efficient use of orders. It's crazy good. Interestingly, he didn't have Famrus in this thing, but we can't all be geniuses, I guess. The Phoenix Myrmidon Fire Team is such a classic. Phoenix is an excellent ARO piece. He's packing Warhorse now,
So excellent work there. Scylla Eva Hacker is also a vanity pick of mine, so I love seeing her in lists. And Panther Soleil got such a glow up with her smoke grenade launcher and BS-13 and double zappers. Big time glow up on Panther Soleil there. Second list is called Long Range. It is a 10-5, once again, a 10-5 split. And it has Scylla FTO and Charybdis FTO, a Flash Boss bot, a Net Rod, I believe, 4-man core of Phoenix, Thamris, Hacker Mine Layer, Myrmidon, Myrmidon and Ajax FTO, another Flash Boss bot, and another Net Rod. And Group 2 consists of a Probot, a Dactyl, that same duo, the Dactyl Engineer with the Marksman Turret and the K2 Auxilia FTO with the Paramine dispensers, Atalanta Total Reaction, and Machaon Lieutenant with Yud bots. One thing that Sam said about this one is he really wanted to put Ajax and Atalanta in a list together because Ajax has probably some of the most reliable smoke grenades in the game now. Being Fizz 16 and Native Burst 2 on his smoke grenades means that you can do some nasty work with Atalanta and Ajax.
Did he say why he had the FTO silo?
No. I think he may have thought when he wrote
he thought
this
the same
list
thing
that it
you
could
did.
duo.
Yeah,
that it could duo, but it can't, unfortunately.
No,
so he may have just had the points. He may have just wanted to spend the orders on the Charybdis to run it up and just be a repeater in the midfield. Which is also valid. Just means that you can run them independently of each other, and you don't have to have Scylla or the bot dragging Scylla around.
Yeah, I do remember getting, I think it was Dion in the group chat partway through, I think round 2, where it was like, I had to fight Atlanta on a fucking parking lot, so I can see who was responsible for that now.
Well, he didn't have to. He chose to.
When has Dion ever made the smart choice?
So he also said that Machaon Lieutenant is still his favorite lieutenant in Steel Phalanx, using the lieutenant order just to pick up somebody that needs a pickup or head towards an objective to pop a box open or leverage the smoke grenades and whip 15 specialist is decent. So props to Sam for finding some secret Machaon tech, because I'm not a believer anymore.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about it. You're definitely not a believer.
Just less so. I think that maybe I really like Sam's list. It might give me some new things to try out. But I definitely see that Atalanta's got more. I mean, Machaon's got more use in this second list with Atalanta as an ARO piece, because she's going to go down, but she might not go down all the way dead, so you can just pick her rack up pretty quickly. You could also interestingly use run Machaon kind of like you used to with the Taliban engineer in Villa Combine. You pop 2 slave drones on him, leave 1 behind to fix up your TR bot. Atalanta's your TR bot in this instance.
Father, what is my purpose?
You give me +1 burst in CC.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say massive props for running in the first list, your only gun being a HRL.
Yeah.
Like,
it's actually very difficult to reach for anything else in Steel Phalanx. You're paying 65 points for a HMG on Agamemnon, or you're paying 40 points for HMG on the Hoplite.
Yeah.
It's big time, not fun.
No, 100% definitely doesn't look like a ton of fun to try and reach for that secondary gun. Yeah. Congrats on Sam. I think he said this was his first top 10 as well, going 4-1. So fucking props to you, man. Good work.
Yeah, well done.
Good job.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Oh, I'll take this one if that's all right, because I'm slowly becoming more of an O12 fan. And as probably the best O12 list builder on the podcast, I feel like,
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. Yep.
Don't worry, Tristan. You'll get
the work I had to do to get these lists is
my
actually
God,
insane.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Don't worry, Tristan.
James
you're going to
didn't-
get your time in 2 lists.
Yes.
James did not want to give these up.
James did not want to give up the secret sauce. Alright, I'll do list 1, you do list 2, Tristan. So list 1 is Dante's Tag and R&B Para. We have the Roadblock Paramedic, 2 Moonraker Mind Layers, Nimrod FTO, Ment FTO, Razor with the hacking device upgrade Trinity, Cyberghost with your hacking device plus, which pairs very naturally with the Zeta Lieutenant, offering neg 6 shooting for MSV pieces through the cheeky cloud of white noise. 2 Hellblazers, the 18-point profiles. I think these are exceptional now as one of your really good close assault options because they're heavy infantry that are good at punching and they have stealth as well, so they can walk through repeaters pretty freely. You've got your Flashpulse bot, Warcore, who's now a specialist in ITS 16.5. Watch out for that episode that's coming soon. Monstrucker wasn't able to reach, by the looks of it, for the whole hog profile. And then your 2 Varangian Guards in a duo, which is probably one of the most efficient sources of pretty much guaranteed smoke in the game now. It's like these Datarazzi and like Dan McConnelly when you roll like a good meta chemistry, stuff like that. Or like any of the like your Ajax or Perseus with the natural BS attack +1 burst. Yeah, I quite like this list. It has all the sort of hallmarks you would find in a Zeta list, and you can sort of see where he's shaved points here and there to try and fit a little bit more into the list. If I was gonna, I really like this. James obviously done quite well with it. Fucking good work, man. I think this might also be his first top 10 at a 2-day event. I can't quite remember.
He might have done top 10. He might have done top 10 somewhere else.
Yeah, he might have. But anyway, fucking good effort.
This very much reads like James watched the episode between Dante and myself about 012 and went, oh my god, let's put everything they're talking about. So
I think I asked him about this because I assumed he'd be playing some kind of Yu Jing, and he's like, no, I just bought a bunch of 012 like kind of randomly, so I thought I should probably play them. I'm like, fucking power to you, man. Like, absolutely.
He tried to do Yu Jing in N5 and like it just wasn't quite clicking yet.
Yeah.
And he randomly bought a whole collection of 012. It's like, okay, let's just start here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tristan, would you like to take list 2?
Alrighty, list 2, we have Dante's Monster Hack. In Group 1, we have 2 Gangbuster Killer Hackers, we have 2 Moonraker Mind Layers, we have a Sirius FO, we have a Cyber Ghost Hacker Device Plus, Alpha Lieutenant with all the good stuff, we have a Nimrod FTO with AP Marksman and EM Carbine, we have a Fuzzbot, we have the Omega HMG, Group 2 is another Sirius FO, a Missile Bot, a Ment Chain of Command, and 2 Varangians. This reads to me like early N4 012, where it's just balls to the walls hacking and guided, and anything that's standing up is getting slapped with a MIM6 HMG.
Yep.
You also note there are 4 Mind Layers plus 2 Heavy Riot Stopper peripherals.
4 Mind Layers. So there's 2 Mines and 2 Mad Traps.
Yep.
And then you just have repeaters all over the midfield. Assassinating the Alpha does nothing. You have smoke. You have glue all the way through the midfield as well.
Is there a faction that feels worse in the game to go for an LT kill against than 012? It's just like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, they've got the cheapest chain of command in the fucking game.
You can pretty much assume that every 012 list across every sectorial is going to have chain of command. It's just too cheap.
Like, it's like, you kill a Zeta, it feels great because you killed the Zeta, but then they're like, I guess I'm going to use my full pool of regular orders still. And you're like, fuck me.
Yeah, and the amount of orders it took to kill that Zeta will not be trivial.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I can definitely see this list just shutting down any HI push, any hackable push.
As a stealth HI player, I hate this list.
Yeah.
You're having to dodge every second movement. If James lays his arrows correctly or James lays his mines correctly, it's going to be very, very difficult to get through his repeated net without copping some kind of hack.
And even then, if it's not hackable, everything running through is going to get spotlit, and next turn you're just going to be dropping missiles.
Yeah.
So,
and even should you lose the hackers, you do still have 2 forward observers in the list as well. If you felt like doing that for the fun of it.
absolutely, those little bots aren't just repeaters; they're also heavy riot stoppers. So,
Yep.
they make you think twice.
I played in this list before Cancon, doing Unmasking. He went first, and I had lost 2 of my HVTs before I had a turn.
Nice.
Sounds about right.
He's just pitcher spotlight gone. Yeah.
Yep. That'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
That will do it.
Wow. Congrats, James.
Yeah, very well done. I like to see the O12 representation.
Absolutely. Big fucking shout outs to you, Jimmy. Nice work, man.
Also, everyone who wants to play O12, I know Jordan says he's a better list builder, but James has done the right thing. If you're going to a tournament, one of your lists needs to have a Zeta.
Yes, and
Hey, some people don't know that. I'm just saying. James,
well, no,
really
it needs to have a Zeta lieutenant. Don't be fucking baited by the Zeta NPO.
So I might have assumed on that regard. Yes, never take the other Zeta. Always a Zeta lieutenant.
Don't pay for optional NCO, kids. It's not good.
No.
Nick, this feels very at home for you. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So, the apparently good Onyx Contact Force player.
This was one of like the old Geelong players who just sort of came up for the weekend. I think Val wrote both of his lists as well, and just pulled out a sick finish.
Honestly, knowing Val wrote the lists, I know where the first list came from then, because
is it yours?
It is an earlier variant of my list that I played against Val.
Nice.
Shameless.
I thought it looked really familiar. I'm like, oh, cool, like great minds. It's like, oh no, it's okay.
Just Val.
So
thief.
List 1, which was according to the title for day 1, was Norkius Lieutenant, a Q drone Thunderbolt +1 burst, a Kurgat, so the Morat engineer, with marksman turrets and 2 slave drones, 2 Imitrons, Kurnow with a Unidron K1 and Firewall and a Unidron Plasma Sniper.
Yep.
And a Noctifer Spitfire forward deployment.
Yep.
Group 2 was an R drone, 2 Icadrons, an E drone, and then a Rodok Paramedic and a Rodok with X-Visor Spitfire.
That's a cool profile.
Yes. After I ran my list into Val, we discussed swapping out the Rodok X-Visor Spitfire for the Noctifer Spitfire.
Just put
and
both in.
He apparently decided both was the right answer. I really do like the Rodoks, especially that like Rodok. I'd prefer to have 3 more points here, and I would have upgraded it to the Rodok Hacker, because it's a Hacker plus Trinity and BTS 6.
0 FWC.
Yeah,
for 0 SWIC.
Just drop a slave drone.
That feels like
I think
a
it's
mistake.
just drop a slave drone.
That feels like a mistake. Hacker plus Trinity, no SWIC?
It may well be.
Yeah, that feels like CV made it a regular hacking device and either forgot to add SWIC or forgot to add it back.
You never know, it's combined.
That's quite possible.
That's true, it's combined.
Yeah, so that was for day 1. And then day 2, so for decap and frontline.
There's the Val special right there as the first profile, fucking Kodali.
So, Group 1 starts off with Kodali Parachutist, Combat Jump.
Oh my god.
Which I'm starting to warm on the profile. I think I want to start playing around with this one. It's got an R drone, single Imatron, the Kurgat with drop bears and a slave drone, 2 Icadrons, an E drone, Bit and Kiss, where Kiss is a repeater and Bit is a real hacker with Trinity.
Yep.
A Greif Ops forward deploy.
Interesting.
The cheap one. So this is. But my first look at this going.
Val definitely wrote this list.
He ran out of SWIC.
Val definitely wrote this list.
Group 2, Overdrawn HRMC, a T-drone missile bot, Unidron plasma sniper, Unidron K1 tin bot firewall, and a regular Unidron plasma carbine with a Nexus lieutenant in there to bring it up to 4.
Why is he giving Unidrons a firewall when there's no hacker in there? Why are you not just saving the 3 points?
Because he wants the K1? I don't know.
So the K1 does work late game.
Okay, sure.
It's also just one of those scary pieces that you could hold back and just give the bonus to the firewall or to the fire team. Okay. And if you start to run out of guns that can deal with a tag, or a heavy infantry gets a little close to your DZ, it just pops out and guns it down.
In case of emergency, break glass, and it's just the fucking Unidron like, put me in, boss.
It's also it's also spotlight protection for the Nexus, isn't it?
Sure, true.
Yes. Also, it's not bad to have a firewall on your remote core.
No,
they are true. BTS 6, and firewall them up to a BTS 9, and you don't have to worry about someone going and trying to just randomly shut down your core models.
Yeah, no,
is that missile bot linkable?
No.
Okay.
I think only in Shaz for CA.
There's like 3 factions in the game, I think, that can do like the +1 special dice guided shit.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're right. With the firewall on the K1, that is a half SWIC, and so you could make the argument of removing that and tossing over into the Greif to make it impersonation. But it depends on what you wanted out of it. If you were really concerned about preserving the lieutenant and making sure it has the best chance not to get spotlit and missiled, firewall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I understand, right? Firefight and decap. It's like we need a piece to sort of do that. It's like Kodali though. She doesn't have a PS trait next to her weapon.
No, I think the way I would try to run Kodali is focusing more on shooting and then picking up dead bodies for Protheon. So you could even do it where you've got the plasma sniper. If it leaves any corpses near a board edge, you just bring Kodali on there, power up by cleaning up the battlefield, and then actually go fight.
But then you're investing in a Prothean piece that can't take the first fight and eat a thing on its own.
No, but it's also super jump, jet propulsion, burst 5, assault pistol at BS14 and MSV2. So
does coup de grace count for Prothean?
Yes.
Okay. I was about to say if it doesn't, and she starts smacking him with a PS8 AP CCW, like, please don't. Right? Please let me drink you.
Oh no. I think her best route to Protheon is
well?
Is
19. Pretty sure she's CC 19.
She's like CC 19 with like MA 1, I think.
No, she's got martial arts level 2 now.
She's martial arts 2, thank God.
3, sorry. She's got martial arts level 3 now.
Okay.
Okay. 3 is getting up there where you can, even at CC 19, start to bully line troops.
With your PS8 fucking AP CCW, Nick, please, man.
I don't know, Nick. What, it's like...
Okay, maybe not bully, but be fairly sure that you won't take a random wound.
Yeah, it's not as unreliable as it seems.
You really don't want to take that random wound either, because she's one wound and has no other state of consciousness.
The drop troop didn't have a multi-rifle though before, so
no, it was a combo.
No.
Yeah,
so that's pretty interesting as well. Mm-hmm. Being able to just shoot HI in the back and reliably kill them.
It obviously worked. I'm just the most diehard non-believer.
We don't want to give Val any credit for his random ramblings of a faction he's never looked at.
I think you just ignore Protheon on her, and if she can slurp up a corpse, awesome. But you just don't plan on it.
Yep.
It's functionally a assault pistol deliverer.
Oh yes,
and then you've got and then she leaves an unconscious body for you to go on your way through.
Yeah. So yeah, the burst 5 assault pistol. Like I said, the go up, nail heavy infantry in the back with a multi rifle. She's BS 14. I think that's the best BS we get in the faction.
Yeah.
For Onyx, at least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Counterpoint, find 10 points and play Norkius instead.
It's a fairly
Depends on
reasonable
what you want.
counterpoint.
I think her selling point is a BS 14 burst 5 MSV2 gunfighter that doesn't have to walk up the board.
Counterpoint.
I've played her a lot.
Points and play Norkius. And play non-Lieutenant Norkius.
No, I've played Kodali a lot. She's fantastic. Don't knock her until you've tried her. Just sit the fuck down, Jordan.
I think the super jump is the secret sauce.
Oh, the super jump definitely.
She from what Jacob was telling me about the Lu Jing, and this is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting shots in the back when they're out of cover on top of a building all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so she's dropping 5 dice on 17s.
Oh yeah.
I would downgrade the Unidron K1 to just the normal Unidron K1 and then upgrade the Grief Operator, because having a Grief Operator as a forward deployer with move to the neg 3 is useless.
Yeah.
It's a strange choice.
Well, like it's MSV1 with MIM 3.
Is it a marker?
But it's BS 11 and it's not a marker.
No, it's not a marker.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, no, please. Yeah, no, just no, fuck.
No.
No, I think you're right. The Greif, the amount you get for that half swick of being able to just go, I have an impersonator right next to your DZ. It's not a great assassination piece, but as soon as you open up a gap, it will go in there and start to kill stuff.
Well, like in Firefight, it just does 3 classifieds. Like
it murders robots like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Really good at just killing orders.
And we don't need to overstate.
It does classify.
I don't think we need to overstate how good Overdrons are either, even though we haven't
Absolutely
mentioned it.
Right.
Overdron's great.
Alberto HRMCs. Just
Bing
hey, you have
bong.
an ARO piece? It doesn't exist anymore.
That ARO piece is now no longer on the table.
Yeah.
All right. So coming in to our 9th placing player.
Yep.
I'm curious, Tristan. I didn't see you in the top 10 ahead of Val.
Well, as I mentioned before, I came 20th, which is
which is less than
average. 9. It is, but it's above average. At least I'm legal drinking age.
Right. But it's below Val. You were very confident, I believe, before the event.
20 is a bigger number than 9, so technically
Val's
below me, but in the
context
good way.
of doing well at an event.
He came in the top 10th twice.
Yeah. Val
you rubbed it
Val
in again.
came like 13 places ahead of you, so
11? Don't stab me that hard, man.
So I believe there was some kind of bet going on. It can't. I think you've written something to say.
I think I faintly remember something along those lines.
I think you've got to say. I think there's something you have to say, and then there is another stipulation for the next major tournament. But I'd really like to hear you say something nice right now.
Okay. All right. Dear Infinity community, podcast listeners, and TAC enthusiasts, it is with a heavy heart that I must concede my long-standing grudge with Victoria's greatest TAC player in complete defeat. I come to you now to declare with all sincerity and genuine admiration that Valerie, one of Australia's greatest minds, is my superior. Valerie has shown extraordinary intelligence, an unwavering spirit in the face of defeat, and sheer gumption that could topple giants. While our rivalry has not always been an easy path for Val, his perseverance has earned him victory and a declaration from myself, the loser, that he has indeed succeeded in his goal of becoming a top 10 Infinity player in Australia. My undying respect and loyalty to our competition implores me to acknowledge that Val has indeed bested me. From list building to execution, Val has demonstrated an uncanny ability to play outside the box to the detriment of his opponents. Val, you have without question prevailed, and I am once again inspired to reach my hand out and attempt entry to the land of the Infinity Pantheon, so that we may once more be equals. Alas, until that day comes, I recognize your greatness and I salute your achievements.
Yeah, get fucked, nerd.
Val, just showing the pure spirit that is Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about these lists, by the way?
Nah.
Hang on, what's this bet?
So Tristan, what's happening at the next 2-day event now?
So at the next 2-day event, which will be Arc.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Well,
it's a fun event.
Actually, I think because I thought about it.
It's going to be for Border Bash, right?
Yeah, I was going to say. I just thought about it now because I'm running Arc. For Border Bash, Val is going to be allowed to choose one of my lists, and I have to play it at least once during the event.
No, my understanding was it had to be at least twice.
No.
Most likely 3 times, honestly.
No. At least once. I have it in writing.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's honestly it's big of you to come out like that and, admit when you're wrong.
I'm nothing if not humble after defeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And Val is nothing if not humble in victory, I suppose.
I'm a bad loser. Val is a bad winner.
Oh yeah, you two are you two are each other's toxic traits.
High school sweetheart.
Absolutely.
We'll never let each other go. Can someone talk about these tack lists now?
Alright, sure, I'll do it very quickly. Again, Val is the perennial tack player in Australia. He's probably the best tack player in Australia. I don't think it's particularly close. And in
the
N5,
only tack player in Australia.
And in N5, tack do appear to be the best panosectoral, and I don't think it's particularly...
fucking hell.
Oh, sorry, the best Ariadne sectoral. Wow, my brain. Yeah, the best Ariadne sectoral, not particularly close. And yeah, he's excelled in list construction. He has bullied IGL players into. He has walked into the den of wolves and has come out carrying their corpses after browbeating them into his opinions.
This is all true.
It is. So list number 1 is a Scout Lieutenant, Pablo McManus, Spetsnaz Surprise Attack, Camouflage Decoy 1 with a heavy machine gun. 2 Krugers, Total Reaction, Conductor with a rifle and flaming spear, a Barsuk to cover the DC, he's never going to move. Ermendino, Beast Hunter. Is that the Ariadne version or is that just the standard one?
Just the standard.
Just the standard one. Second Ermendino, Lion Kazakh, Vet Kazakh, Lion Kazakh, Handler with 3 Antipodes, and a Dynamo, which is one of Val's vanity pieces.
AP Spitfire Dynamo.
AP Spitfire Dynamo, yes. Very easy to see how this did well.
He jumps around a lot. So he submitted lists for Pimp My List, which weren't these. We provided him lists which weren't these. And these are not either of those lists. So he's done something completely different. I find it very strange. I find it very strange for him not to take a Frontovic in nearly every list. A Frontovic sniper. So maybe
it's in list 2.
It's in list 2, but I mean in both lists. Because the first list will be his decap list. Because he's a camo lieutenant. So yes. I suppose that Vet Kazakh is pretty good.
I do recall hearing about a conversation before decap where Val was asking someone if he should take the camo lieutenant in decap.
He was versing Peter's IA.
Yeah.
And so it was maybe I don't need a camo lieutenant because I'm not going to get guided. But I think he decided to go with it again.
Yeah.
Just have that extra layer of protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't work out for him.
No. And then looking at list 2, this time the difference being the lieutenant here mainly with the Dynamo Paramedic, Facility Chain of Command, your Ratnik Heavy Rocket Launcher +1 burst with a heavy shotgun. Again, 2 Urigan, 2 Courier, Total Reactions. The Vistral Sniper, AP Sniper Rifle, Neurosynetics. Tristan, you finally got through to him. Congratulations. He's no longer leaving money and points on the table by taking a portable autocannon.
Yep.
Strelok Forward Observer, Scout Mindlayer, Ermendino, Colonel Veronin, Good Boy Colonel Veronin, we love Colonel Veronin, Lion Kazakh, Frontovic, Multispectral Visor, AP Sniper Rifle, Dog Warrior, Ermendino with the Electronic.
This is very much more a traditional Val list.
Yep.
It throws down mines. It has a bunch of TR bots that are really easy to pick back up. And
it has like one gunfighter.
Yep, it has one gunfighter, but it just bullies you with quad order attacks and mine layers from not the mine dispensers from the Dynamo. And then dog warriors and stuff run up the table, beat the crap out of you, and then he kind of just focuses on the mission. He's not really there to cripple your list or anything. He just make it really hard for you to do the mission while he does it.
Yeah, totally. Congrats to Val, 9th place.
Yep, congratulations, Val.
9th place, better than 20th by a substantial margin.
It is.
Yep.
It definitely is.
Absolutely. Shoutouts to Ivory for giving Val the high scoring draw in round
1,
2, I think.
1, 2?
No, it was like
1,
round 2 or 3.
I think it was 2. Yeah, it was either 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3. I remember wandering around. I'd have to go look at the live streams. It was around 2 or 3, definitely.
Yep.
But yeah, that definitely seemed to play a role in the high placing.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. All right. So how did we go on predictions, guys? I think we can pat ourselves very sharply on the back for Turret's pretty fucking good, hey.
Turret's pretty fucking good.
yeah, Turrets. I'd say the one game that I really ran into issues with my opponent's turrets was probably the first game into Vanilla Combined. And that was because because of the terrain, could not get to Dr. Worm.
Yep.
And he just proceeded to do exactly what I told him to do with the list build, and threw out 2 turrets per turn.
You just vomit turrets onto the board. Yeah.
And so to get to that button, I cautious moved through all the turrets and then just really hoped that he rolled badly when I went to push the button. He did not roll badly.
Oh no. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
But the button was pushed. So.
Very nice.
Yeah, just covered, just like pushed by the dismembered fucking hand.
Yeah.
I think we've seen throughout these lists
it's just so free to include.
A massive lack of just taking as many massive gunfighters as you could, which almost felt N4-y. But people are really like, I guess maybe because the ARO potential is a little less lethal, but there's a lot more non-swick guns being taken. The Crux Knight by Shang. Val's list doesn't really count, but like some of those Kawaj are doing really well. So like non-swick guns doing really well. And just really good defense, winning new games, because learning how to defend in a new edition will be much more beneficial than learning how to attack.
Yep.
Well, I think the Thunderbolt has a fair bit to do with that, because it provides a 0 swick gun that has range bands normally only covered by swick weapons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
No. Mimetism is great.
Mimetism's always good. Yeah.
I heard a lot of complaints about Cenobite HRLs and Phoenix over the weekend.
Absolutely.
I think like just latching on to the next point about Thunderbolts is that I'm fairly certain the only TR bot I saw on there, apart from Ryan, who deliberately took 2. The only other Thunderbolts I saw were all the only other TR bots I saw were all the Thunderbolt +1 burst ones.
Yep.
So
the Thunderbolt +1 burst is absolutely just in ascendancy right now.
5 points is massive.
It's huge.
It's 5 points, and it doesn't get outranged by anything unless it's a sniper shooting over 48 inches at it.
Yep.
Yeah, neg 12ing that gun is like impossible, and anyone knows if you only neg 9 a TR bot, you have essentially just guaranteed that they're going to roll a 2.
Yep. Unless you nick.
Yes.
At which point you try and neg 12 his TR bot. I think I did neg 12 it because I'm giving it surprise as well. I can't remember.
Yes,
Anyway.
I think. Yeah, because
no,
if you
I think it was on 2s because you're in good range. But anyway.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it, but it's way less common than it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
So on the MIM note, how about like visors, albedo, white noise? Like I know for myself, I had Kernow and linked pictures, and I never used white noise because I saw one visor the entire tournament, and it was Bishi.
Yeah, I don't think I saw any visors, if I'm honest.
I definitely did not see any like visor ARO pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like those have definitely taken a very sharp decline in how often they are taken.
I think you were right, Jordan, in the sense that maybe the best way to fight Mim is with Mim.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of fighting the Cenobite HRL with an Aquila Guard, I just fight it with a Swiss Guard. And the Swiss Guard is less bad against albedo units and things like that. It's more universally worthwhile.
It's just, it's taking a universal piece instead of a scalpel, right?
Yeah.
Like a Swiss Guard popping out of camo to shoot a Cenobite HRL puts the Cenobite on sixes, I think.
3s or 4s, depending on if it's in a link or not. Or a 4-man link.
Oh yeah, because if it's in a 4-man link, so it's BS13, so what, neg 12's it, neg 9's it, down to 4s.
Yep.
And you're shooting it on a half decent number. Yeah, 9s or 12s if it's already done a wound to something.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, that brings into another good point. Like, ballistic skill spread was far more, I guess, comfortable to play in. It never felt like I couldn't figure out something, even if I couldn't actually make it work, to approach a gunfighter.
Yeah.
There weren't any situations of, like, it's linked BS18, like, what do I do?
Yep.
They're all sitting in ranges where if you stack the right bonuses, if you stack the right penalties, most gunfighters can fight other gunfighters.
Absolutely. You killed a Swiss Guard with a Unidron, so...
Yes. Yeah.
It's absolutely possible. Like, a Swiss Guard will be the apex predator now, being MIM 6 and BS 15. But even that isn't as oppressive as a fully linked Suryat in N4.
Yes.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's seeing no longer having to, like, come into a game and go, I need to deal with, like, random BS 15 ARO pieces is so good. Like, it's so nice to not have to go, oh boy, it's a group of Fusiliers over there and that missile launcher is BS 15. Yay!
Absolutely.
But AROs are doing, I mean, like, calling to AROs are still doing their job of being just speed bumps.
Yeah, it's speed bumps.
There are more select things.
It's become more about, like, the Viz mods for them than it has about, like, visors and stuff. Like, MIM 3 and MIM 6 is just so good. Like, there's a reason why, like, the ARO pieces that I think were really annoying people this weekend were Cenobites and Phoenix, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, do we have any other random predictions that I think we threw out?
I guess we covered a little bit more, like, faction distribution and the winning faction. Not as much Pano showed up as we thought, but Kestrel won.
Absolutely.
Any changes we think would be appropriate after a tournament?
I think that if you want an easy fix to turrets, you just make it so an engineer can have one turret deployed at any one time, and if he deploys a second turret, it destroys the previous turret. That fixes the, like, I've put 5 turrets down, what do I do now scenarios.
I would disagree. I think there's an easy fix, but I think it's removing perimeter.
Yeah.
Because that forces the engineer to actually go to where the turret is being deployed. I think the ability to place it 8 inches away, or half your move plus 8 inches, on a rooftop or on just a weird place that just is very inaccessible.
Yeah.
Is the worst part of turrets right now. If you force the engineer to actually go to that spot, it forces them to commit orders to get there, orders to get the engineer back out to safety, as opposed to freely just like cloud, an 8-inch bubble of turrets.
Yeah.
And it makes them have to risk the engineer in that place where they want the turret.
Yeah,
I
can
would
definitely say that.
I would say I don't necessarily think the strength of turrets is the turret itself. I think it's more the volume, the potential volume you have.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they weren't disposable, like they were like the tag pilot things that you can't necessarily refill them, they would maintain their relative strength, but wouldn't be like exponential in the fact that if you didn't deal with all the turrets in one turn, they can just shit out 3 more and their turret count is going up. Because
Like, I got to play a couple of games on the weekend, and in the game I played against Rob, like, my machinist deployed 2 combi rifle turrets, and it took a Magari Brigade 5 orders to chew through them all. Like,
yeah, another thing, the turrets just being naturally 2 armor is a bit strange.
naturally 2 armor. Naturally 2 armor and S2 as well. Instead of, I think they were S1 the first time they came around.
They were S1 with 0 armor, yeah. And then they became S2 with 2 armor, which is...
The 2 armor is probably an issue when compounded by perimeter, because you just easily place it in cover from most angles.
Yeah.
Maybe just remove cover being from deployables would be enough.
Potentially, that affects other things. So I mean, if you
not
want,
really that much.
Not really. Like, turrets are the main thing that affects, right?
I know. It's a small change on things like mines and repeaters and stuff like that, but it's not massive.
How often have you been like, yes, we're throwing the pitcher here so it gets cover when my opponent tries to deal with it?
I'll do that. Like, if it's a matter of moving it a few millimeters one side or the other, of course.
Well,
it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but then getting cover would be interesting.
Nick, you fucking got me there.
You
absolutely fucking got me there.
You could just do a thing with perimeter that says you can't deploy it touching cover, kind of like combat jump.
You could also just give armed turrets no cover.
You could do that as well.
Just give them no cover.
I think
and then you wouldn't have to rewrite the rest of them.
I think something needs to be done. I don't think it'll be done in the next 6 months.
No, I think they'll let it cook for a while.
They'll see what tournament data comes through first, I think.
Yeah.
I think Norkius still probably loses immunity arm.
I think he should.
Hot take, even though Combined didn't do great. It didn't. I think Norkius died a lot, but that was also because everyone was like, if I do not deal with this model, I think the game just ends.
There was a border mash style moment where everyone hyperfixated on Norkius the same way everyone hyperfixated on the Prime.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is Norkius users overestimate how much they can do, and Norkius killers spend their entire first pool just killing him.
I definitely ran into lists that were specifically geared to combat Norkius.
I think. And the things that like deal with Norkius are like a lot less specialized than things that deal with the Prime, right? Like, dealing with Norkius is sometimes as simple as, do I have a Whip 13 hacker and some pitches?
I wish.
A Whip 13 killer hacker and some pitches.
Even if he dropped 2 or 3 points, that's fine. Just get rid of immune arm and make it so that he is more of a scalpel with those amazing rewards, if you're not willing to change Prothean.
Immunity arm, giving him immunity arm was it was a very strange decision.
CB, if you take away immunity arm, please remember to give him immunity shock.
Yes, that.
Please don't make us have to find that first Prothean wound to get immunity shock.
That's so funny.
That's totally what's gonna happen.
Josh, do you have anything?
I think we were. I think we were wrong that people would latch onto kind of red deck wins scenarios
yeah,
for
definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
this tournament. I very much liked the spread because I think people were just like, oh, this faction was my baby for the last 5 years in N4. I want to see what it does now. And I rate that. I fuck with that a lot. So I'm really proud of the Australian community of not succumbing to everyone just running Norcus or
KFC.
everyone not running Kestrel or figuring out the secret source that is Shinnobutai. Seeing these 4 IA players step up and go, yep, my beloved IA faction just got a huge fucking buff, so I'm gonna run it. So cool.
I'm a huge fan of IA doing well. Makes me so happy because for so long they were like, this is the coolest looking faction in the game. Sure, would be great if they did anything.
Yep. We even had a vanilla Ariadne player trying to play French.
Yeah, that was I respected
incredible.
that so much.
Yep.
Nothing but respect for doing that. No, alright.
Yep.
Feel that's a CanCon in the books, and hopefully everyone has enjoyed the episode today. I believe we'll have a winner's interview with Hector coming out soon, hopefully, as soon as we can sort of get that recorded. And then another episode next week that we will discuss what that's going to be. But until next time, I've been your host, Jordan, joined by Tristan.
Hello, bye.
Josh.
Good night.
And Nick.
Good night.
Thank you for coming out tonight, everyone. Bye.
Bye.